on, bring them on. I'm ready.
Great to see you, Jeff Flock, or just retool the plant to make other cars. Jeff Flock, great reporting there.
Sure. Some Teslas.
Come back soon. We love having you on, Jeff. I know you're going to be all over that story tomorrow. Now, lots of talk today about Beto O'Rourke beating Bernie Sanders in the money-raising derby. Beto raised $1.6 million in just 24 hours. But the big news is this. Beto is walking away from single payer, from Medicare for All. He doesn't like it. Now, this is contrary to what Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, they're all saying yes to Medicare for All, yes to single payer. Beto is saying, I only want to give people the option to buy into Medicare. Look at this poll. We're going to remind you about the Kaiser Family Foundation findings. Its poll, a big warning to candidates. Voters don't like single payer once they hear what it is, that it will wipe out everyone's private insurance. That's 180 million Americans won't have any more private insurance. It would wipe out Medicare. It would wipe out Medicaid. And middle-class taxes and even lower-income class taxes would have to go up to pay for it. The left, though, is going crazy. Just as Democrats, another group called Democracy for America, Progressive Change Campaign, they're saying, Beto, you got to go on another apology tour for your policy position here. They're also accusing him of running a personality campaign instead of a policy campaign. For her reaction, let's bring in National Taxpayer Union senior fellow Mattie Duppler. Wow, Mattie, this got ugly fast. What's your take on all this?
Are you surprised, Liz?
Right.
You've got 20-some-odd Democrats running for president. Eventually, someone's going to say, listen, the math doesn't add up. Now, with Beto, it's interesting, right? Because everyone was wondering, does he get in? Does he stay out? But all Democrats really need to explain when they're embracing Medicare for All, what they're doing is they're rejecting Obamacare. They're rejecting the health care plan that Democrats have put in place for the last 10 years, and they're saying it doesn't work. We need wholesale reform of the system. And that's essentially what Beto, the tight line that Beto's trying to walk right now. He's saying, listen, parts of the system are broken, but what I really want is a Medicare option for people to buy into. You've seen already that Democrats in the progressive base isn't taking kindly to that.
All right, but let me back up. Beto raised $6.1 million. But let me ask you this. Can he appeal? Can he get Democrat voters to go for him without supporting single payer? What do you think?
I think that's a good question. Now, there's a lot being made of the total amount that Beto raised, saying that it beat out Bernie Sanders. That shows that he's got a lot of staying power. Bernie Sanders, though, raised over 20. He had 220,000 different donors donating to that campaign. That was an average donation of 27 bucks a pop. What I would like to see is Beto actually make a mass appeal. We don't know yet where all those donations came from, if they are concentrated in just different states, different parts of the country. We know Beto is trying to run through the Midwest. He certainly has a lot of explaining to do if he's going to go to the Midwest and try to talk about policy that's relatable. And you know what,
but Mattie, what's really interesting, all of these Democrat candidates are whipping fastballs by the American people. That's the criticism. They will not answer, how do you pay for single payer, or how do you pay for Medicare for All? They avoid it. But here's a former campaign staffer for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Here's what he is saying about democracy. I want your take on his definition of democracy. He says it's, quote, it means preventing an aristocracy. It should mean taking power and wealth away from those who hoard it and making sure it belongs to everyone. Is that the definition of democracy?
It's a lot of buzzwords that campaign manager is throwing around without really saying anything, right? I mean, here's the deal. Presidential politics is what it is, but you do have to have ideas. You have to have a vision that you're giving to the American people and explain to them why it's different than the other teams. That's exactly what Democrats are trying to do, and that's why there's so much friction now between Democrats who aren't adopting full-scale progressive policies, because they know if they actually had to implement them, there's absolutely no way they could do so. Medicare for All is going to cost over $32 trillion, and that's a liberal and conservative estimate, let me say. And we don't know how we would pay for it. As you mentioned in your opening, this is not just something that you can tax the wealthy and pay for all of these promises that Democrats are trying to make. It requires massive tax increases on the middle and lower class, and that simply isn't going to fly in the United States.
And it would be, $32 trillion over 10 years. Democrat candidate Andrew Yang, he wants to give every American $1,000 a month in a basic income tax. And Mattie, he's saying, you know how to pay for that, just tax Amazon. What's your take on that?
That's convenient. Universal basic income has failed everywhere it's tried, even in Finland, where you already have these massive welfare states. I don't think it's a policy proposal Americans are looking to take up anytime soon.
Mattie Duppler, great to see you. Mattie Duppler of the National Taxpayers Union. We are keeping tabs on other developing headlines for you tonight. Let's take you to Brazil. A court there has ordered Vale, that's the world's biggest iron ore miner, to suspend operations at 2 more dams until Vale can prove they are safe. This after a dam at another Vail site blew apart on January 26th, killing about 300 people. Warner Brothers chair and CEO Kevin